thing about this was I was actually listening to the speech and I was driving, and so I got the first part of it. But I couldn't listen to the rest of the speech because where I was, man, the internet connection was bad, and I lost the feed, so I couldn't continue. Hold on, I'll give me something. And I was pretty bummed out, man, because the part that I did see, which was the beginning, most of it, I see I was like about maybe 15, 20 minutes in. It was absolute fire, dude. I caught all the stuff with the Democrat dude standing up and protesting, and then they got escorted out of the house. And once I saw that dude, I knew it was going to be fire. And it didn't disappoint because I have seen clips. Look, guys, I'm always online. Always looking at stuff, keeping up with news, especially currently right now. A lot of this stuff that's going on that's revolving around me involves me personally, and I'm talking about like career, personal stuff, right? And so I have to keep up with this stuff, man, just to know what's going on. And plus, like I told you guys on my channel, the reason I do these videos because I enjoy doing it, right? So once I had seen some clips of what the president had said in other portions of the address, this is a congressional address actually. And this isn't like a lot of people are confused. They were thinking like this is the first 100 days. It's nothing like that. He was just invited by the Speaker of the House to come and address Congress, both sides of Congress, which is the Democrats and the Republicans, right? And so that was just a cordial thing, and he showed up and he came. And there was look, and before this thing even kicked off, if you guys didn't know what was going on politically, hey, what's up, Faded man? Yeah, we're gonna jump into this real quick, brother. This is gonna be a long one though, man, because I want to do the speech. I know it runs about 2 hours. In between, I might skip forward on some things. Um, we'll see how it goes, man, because 2 hours is a long time. Plus, I think because I know some of it, like I said, I only watched the beginning part. I caught some of the clips, and once I saw some of the stuff that was going on, I decided, you know what I'm gonna do, man? I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna do a live reaction to this. Well, not a live reaction, but I'll do a reaction to this video in hindsight, and kind of give my thoughts. And as you guys know, the way I do it on this channel, they will be listening to some stuff. But I know it's gonna be, I'll be stopping the video and I'll be giving my thoughts, man. I'll try and keep that at a minimum because this is long. There's some portion of this I might stop because I don't know if I can go 2 hours on this bad boy. It's a long time. And then I might fast forward in some parts and stuff like that just to get through it. But I mean, it just depends, man. Like I said, I only saw the first portion. I only got to hear the first portion of the speech that he gave, and that in and of itself, dude, was fire, right? And then the fireworks started from the jump, which I will address on this, man. Because I thought it was really stupid of the Democrats to kind of like just shoot their shot that early. They should have waited, right? Because for the rest of the time, right? You go big too early, dude. It's over, right? And Trump being how he is, man. If you guys don't watch or don't know anything about Trump, dude, he'll take advantage of every opportunity he has. And that's what I'm expecting because, like I said, I did see some clips that people shared. I couldn't avoid it. I tried to keep it, tone it down. I know I didn't watch the speech. I waited for now to do it. So, yeah, man, hopefully you guys enjoy this, man. I know I will already because, like I said, I knew there was stuff that was going to pop off. There was rumors of things happening already before he addressed Congress, right? And again, like I was saying earlier, there's a lot of animosity between both parties right now. There's a lot of stuff going on in the country, right? And it was on full display. Like I talked about the meeting with Zelensky, absolutely loved it. I loved every moment of it, dude. I'm not lying when I say like I could be playing Avowed right now. I could be catching up with my solo leveling. I actually got a couple more books in that I could read, and I've watched the anime, but I still want to go through the books. And my point being, there's like 500 million other things I could be doing right now. But this is so entertaining to me, and that's what I mean in the comment section. I said this is pretty epic speech, and by epic I mean epic in scope, epic in size, entertainment. I mean, dude, I saw one clip. I saw one clip where he basically and when I get to that point in the video, I'll stop it and comment on it. But when I saw him do that, I was like, oh my gosh, dude, this thing is fire. So anyway, man, let me roll this live. I skipped ahead through all the pomp and circumstance. Normally, I actually like that kind of stuff. But we'll get right into the video right where we're starting right now. All right. And thanks for being here, everybody.
Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, the First Lady of the United States.
Yeah, Faded. It was not a good look. I agree with you. So do Democrats. There's a lot of Democrats that are unhappy about this whole thing because it makes them look bad, dude. It really does.
Members of the United States Congress, thank you very much. And to my fellow citizens, America is back.
I love this shot, dude. The cameraman's on point. One side stands up, the other side isn't looking like it. Also, just really quick, man, to let you guys know, the people in the front. Some people comment why the people in the front aren't doing anything. That's the Supreme Court. That's his military joint chiefs and stuff like that. Some people here are just neutral, right? But these are all Democrats up here, and then everybody else right here. Of course, you can tell who the Republicans and the Democrats are. But just to let you guys know, they don't. I mean, I've never seen a presidential address or that I can remember that because they don't get involved in it, right?
6 weeks ago, I stood.
Hey, what's up, Katie the Goat? Trump is living out Project 2025 and clearly about to turn America from a superpower to a super oligarchy. No, he's not, dude. And Project 2025 is a conservative. That came from a conservative think tank. Trump is not a conservative, bro. He's a populist. A lot of people get that wrong. They think he's conservative. Some people think he's still liberal. Some very few people think he's liberal, but most people pit him with conservative or even libertarian. He's a populist. He's not a conservative. And the reason why I say that because I'm a conservative. He has conservative leanings. But if he was really conservative, there's some things that he would not be doing if he was conservative or if he was following Project 2025. The stuff he does with tariffs, right? A lot of the stuff that he does with the taxes, his spending, that's not conservative things, brother. But the reason why he's able to do that, Goat, is because he has an amalgamation, a following of people that's both Republican and Democrat, liberal and conservative, and everybody else that doesn't fall into any type of political party. He has the numbers. So much so that both sides have to respect him, which it's my understanding, and we'll see that in his presidential address. And I don't. Goat says, Katie the Goat says, and I don't prescribe to Dem or Republican. This is just factual things we can point out. Yeah, but I'm a Republican, Katie. I'm a Republican and a conservative. Christian first, conservative, then a Republican. And there's a lot of things he does, dude, that conservatives don't appreciate at all. Right. I'm ready. I'm willing to jump on this train and see where it goes, dude. Like just to let you guys know, like I said, politics aside, dude, I just enjoy watching this personally, right? So I know sometimes some people are confused about it. I try and put up my politics out there first and foremost, but like for spending and stuff like that, he's not conservative in spending. In fact, they're going to try and pass a bill, right? Tax cuts, yeah, it is, but he wants to raise the debt limit, which a lot of conservatives don't like, but they can't really do anything about it. And a lot of the people on the Republican side, they tied they tied their vote to him, right? So if he rises, they rise. If he falls, they fall. Fada said the Democratic Party turned into an Avengers Civil War. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just a bad look, dude. Because the Democratic Party, right? I mean, it's ironic, to Goat's point, right? I'm on the Republican side, and the Republicans. There's a Republican side. There's conservatives in there, and then there's also libertarians now, and there's also Democrats. Tulsi Gabbard's a Democrat. Right? She says she's Republican, but she's always been a Democrat. She's from Hawaii, where I'm from. She's very Democratic. She's Democrat leaning, right? A lot of these people, that's why they were ousted by their own party. That's why they're over on the right side because that's the only place they can go. We might not get along with each other, but we're not going to try and shut them down. Right? They have their own opinions and stuff like that, which is what politics should be on average across the board, regardless of what side. But yeah, dude, I mean, I know there's Democrats where I live, dude, and they're hardcore Democrats, dude. Because it makes them look bad, right? Some of the stuff that was going on, as they were saying. Katie the Goat says, also, it's not Elon running the show; it's Theo. It's they have the presidency, But I always go just to let you know, brother. Trump is an egomaniac, bro. He's running the show. You might listen to him, might take their counsel, right? Like you hear what's been coming out lately, where Elon Musk, man, he just wants to do. You saw him with the chainsaw at CPAC, right? I don't know if you saw that clip, but he wants to just gut the entirety of the federal government, and Trump is telling him no, and he's telling him no, you have to, and then and then like even Elon acknowledges he gives advice to Trump, but he probably tries to sway him. And Thiel is, yeah, you're right about that. Thiel is another one, right? And there's a couple other people involved in that, right? Like in the previous administration, you had Bannon. Bannon's kind of on the outskirts now, right? The people that Trump has around him, definitely, he has a different train of people around him right now, and still ties to like some of his older associates from the first presidential run, but it's totally different. Yeah, but he doesn't. Look, dude, Trump and Elon too, man. They have massive egos, and so Trump is when he does something, it's ultimately his decision, dude. I remember watching The Apprentice one time, and his daughter, man, and he loves his daughter, Ivanka, and Ivanka said something one time, and he snapped at her, and I was like, whoa, you know. And then I remember this other time when he was running. Well, yeah, when he was running for president the first time, people were talking about him being kind of a crony capitalist, right? Like using the office of the president to enrich himself. And then he said, "No, I'm stepping away from the business. My kids are going to run it." Then somebody asked him, "Well, what if your kids do a bad job?" He says, "Yeah, then I'll finish these 4 years. I'll come back and they'll all be fired." So, consummate. That's just his personality, dude. I know it's all. I can totally understand, dude. Some people don't like the personality. They don't like what he says and stuff like that. But it is what it is. Katie DeGo says, no, Project 2025 was made by mostly first-term Trump cabinet deal, supported financial deal in Elon or South African apartheid kids. 2025 is about, no, dude, you're wrong, bro. I told you, bro. I mean, if I understand, like you're saying, you're not conservative or liberal, stuff like that, but I'm a conservative. Right? Yeah, conservative think tanks. This is not just of them, dude. A lot of the stuff they parroted in Project 2025, it's been parroted in a lot of conservative think tanks. Right, you can see this if you watch like Ben Shapiro. Like, there's a lot of conservatives that believe in stuff in Project 2025, but Trump denounced it when he was running for presidency. Now, I'm not saying there's some things he might not like, he will like, but the thing about Trump that you got to realize, dude, President Trump, sorry, I'll try and be official. One thing you got to realize about what he does, man, he could like something 1 minute and then not like it the next, or he might use it as leverage. This is why everybody. It's hard to pin him down, and everybody's thrown off. Just like today, right? He came out and he was announcing, we already at war with not war, but we're at a tariff war with Canada and Mexico. Then he kind of like, okay, well, I'll give you another 30 days, right? Let's see what you do then, right? And then out of the blue, like he goes and talks about Japan, right? And Japan just came here, dude, and everything seemed amicable. But then today he mentioned, well, I don't know, man. I don't know about if I like the deal that we have in protecting them. And me personally, I have my opinions of why he did that with Japan, because he wants them to get rid of their Article 9, their white paper. He wants them to go to project power in the Pacific. Like, we'll help them and defense, but I'm pretty sure that he wants Japan to defend themselves because they can. They're probably next to us. They're the best military in Asia. I'd even put them above Australia. Nothing against Australia. I'm just saying, right? That's so. There's always there's a method to his madness. The problem is trying to pin it down, and that's very hard. And that's why I enjoy watching him, because I like looking at that kind of stuff personally. And I'm not saying you're not wrong about Theo and Elon. Yeah, they are South African apartheid kids, right? But conservative fascism, dude, that's like an oxymoron. There is no conservative fascism. It would just be fascism. You cannot like conservatism, right? That's why people, everybody, like, some people like liberalisms. I'm a conservative myself, right? I'm not saying you have to like it. I think personally, it's the better system. That's my personal bias. But yeah, he's not, dude. He has glints of being a conservative. But just because he does something that conservative, he does everything that he chooses to do. I guess that's the best way I can put it. If it happens to align with conservatism, fine, right? Like a lot of people that are supporting him, man. There's a couple things that came out, like the IVF stuff, man. There's a lot of Christians and conservatives that are not down with that, right? Some of the stuff that Elon does, the people on the right are not down with. Like he's talking about like microchips in the brain, like I've talked about on my channel. I ain't down with that. Look, dude. I mean, I'm not. You run the technology and stuff like that, but if don't impose that on me, kind of deal. But that's what makes the Republican side now, and I hate saying even Republican side, the Big Tent. What the MAGA thing is now is the Big Tent, because there's everybody in there right now, and they don't all agree, bro. They're all arguing with each other in there too. That's why the news be like, "Oh, there's a civil war." I'm like, bro, you late to the party. It's gonna be a civil war, man, because if you have people with differing opinions, right? But normally the differing opinions would come from the two parties, and then some of the people in the middle. At least when I was growing up, right? But you had distinctive thoughts on the Democrat side and on the Republican side, right? And then that's where you get the differences and stuff like that. And then people in the middle, of course, but for the most part, the political parties, right? But now everything's topsy turvy, dude. It's just like there's people I see like on what's that on conservative podcasts, or people that say they're conservative. Even me, like, dude, there's people that are now they say they're conservative, they're not. They might be fiscally conservative, but most people that are joining the party, dude, they're very in the middle, bro. As far as conservatism, it's just like somebody who says like they're a Christian, but they don't read their Bible, but they go to church like on Easter and maybe they go on at Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like that. They acknowledge that there's a God, but they don't practice the faith or live the faith, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't spread the gospel, but they consider themselves Christian. That's the best way to put it. I'll give you the link for the 900. No, you don't have to give me the link, bro. Dude, I've been a conservative my whole life. I'm doing EOs to circumvent Congress. So okay, let me. My bad, bro. Let me read this. I'll give you the link for the 900-page book on Project 2035. Him doing EOs to circumvent Congress, get rid of DOJ, Department of Education, and FBI. It's even a site that shows 40% of 2025 is passed via his EOs. Yeah, but you don't have to send me that, Katie. I know already. I'm already on the conservative side, right? And I think the problem that you're having, which is interesting, right, is the EOs, because that's kind of a non-conservative thing actually. Conservatives don't believe in EOs, executive orders, but it's just the nature of the beast now, right? Bush started it. I don't think Reagan ever did anything. But I don't think Reagan. I can't remember Clinton doing it, or if he did it, he probably did it once or twice, or even or maybe even Bush. Yeah, I don't remember any. The first person I know that did an EO that I can remember off the top of my head, and there might have been somebody before him, was Bush, and I think he did like one or two. Then of course Obama came in and he did more. Then Trump came in, he did more, and then Biden took over and he did way more, and then Trump is just going ballistic on these EOs. And as far as and you don't have to send me to, because I don't care if they get rid of Department of Education. I don't think they're going to get rid of Department of Justice. They're just going to fire a bunch of people, right? That's one of the pillars of the federal government. Department of Education can go. FBI, they're not helping themselves. They'll probably get gutted. It's even a site that shows 40% of 2025 has been passed via E. Oh yeah, dude. 100%, dude. You're 100%, Katie. And I think this is small thinking, dude. Bro, it's been just a little over 2 months. Like what has been 2 months and a day, right? The 5th. It was just the other day. And this dude has been nonstop. He EOs every day, dude. He does executive orders every day. In fairness to him, though, a lot of the executive orders he did in his first term, it was to reverse a lot of the EOs that was for Obama stuff. And he's doing the same thing with Biden, right? But then he is going full speed ahead. I'm not going to say he's not. Right? And some of it, dude, is just weaponization, dude. He keeps people off balance, too, with his EOs, man, because he'd be doing something. The whole Ukraine thing went down. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, he's like, okay, English is the official language. He does an executive order for that. The problem with executive orders is they're not binding, right? All it'll take is like, if there's a presidential shift, say the Democrats find somebody that can actually win next time, right? And they win, then they can just reverse everything. That's why executive orders, he's doing a lot of the executive orders to make the changes, but what you want to do is codify it in law. And that's where the real battle begins. Faded Blaze says, Trump derangement syndrome is as equivalent to the Streisand effect. Yeah, dude, it's pretty bad, Faded. It's pretty bad. Like when I look at a lot of this stuff, it's sad. And from what I hear, that's what happened in this address that he gave to Congress. Katie to go. I think it's just personally politics don't help us working class, but know the enemy is how I look at it. I just take the info available and apply it as it's there. Yeah. I mean, it should though. Katie. Katie. Sorry. Go. It should, brother, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's the working class that it affects the most. The middle class, lower class, even the people that are in the upper class. But in the upper class, right, you're in a different bracket. You know, for a lot of people that have money, right, when roast beef goes from $9 a pound to $14.99 a pound, right? If you have money, that's not gonna bother you. Stuff like that. Right? That's why it's interesting because the first time he won was because of the blue collar. A lot of the blue wall that the Democrats touted so much, and he just blew that away. A lot of those guys voted for him, right? Because they wanted him to bring back manufacturing, you know, give them a way for them to earn a living. And I'm for that too. And I've always been like I've been like that pre-Trump. I remember when all of this stuff happened, when we started closing down factories and stuff like that. Some of it was because the politics of the time, as well as what was going on with the unions, right? And then they shut down the factories, which I thought was bad. I'm a firm believer in just like we need to make our own stuff. And then COVID comes around, and it kind of reaffirmed that to a lot of people, right? Because you can get stuff when you rely on other countries. That's the problem. That's what you see going on with the terrorists right now. Now, I agree in some ways, but I think it's saying that sayings, the greatest lies are half truths. Sometimes we ignore the overall for the sleight of hand in front of our face. I'm not going to disagree with you with that. Just when it comes to Trump, man, it's just I've learned from him, dude. He's the type of person, man, that he doesn't want to lie to you, man. He wants to convince you, even if you don't like him or not. And he does a lot of that all the time when it comes to foreign policy. Right? That's why he's been able to make deals and make connections with people that nobody thought was possible. Like what happened in his first term with the Middle East. Because and then a lot of it, dude, is just like Faded say. There's a TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, that people just can't get past. But it's more than that, dude. A lot of people can't check their biases or have perceptions. I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying in general, right? When you look at somebody like Trump, or you hear what the news says about him all the time, naturally it's the same thing like Xbox, bro. Right? People like we all know Xbox has the most powerful system, but that narrative out there there's narratives out there like it's not the most powerful system, or if you're gonna buy Xbox and just go buy a PC, or Xbox kind of games. It's something like that, dude. And if you own an Xbox and you're in the ecosystem, none of that is true. And at the end of the day, like if politically, it just hurts the opposition party if they go down that road. It's hurting them now, right? So much to the point where I know he did some stuff in there. I acknowledge some people that whether you're Republican or Democrat, and when I watch it, I'll know for sure. But I'm pretty confident I got a grip on it. That when it comes to that point in time, dude, you should stand up regardless of what party you are. Katie says even the Zelensky move was PJ25. He's now saying we should leave NATO as they suggest would be in our best interest. Well, he said that before, Katie. He's talked about leaving NATO. His reasoning behind that is because we're basically NATO. There really isn't no. The United States is NATO. We fund it for the most part. We're the biggest contributors, and of course, we have the biggest defense. Now, me as a Republican, especially a war hawky, as I've been called war hawkish, because I understand the history of why we've done certain things we've done in the country, especially when it comes to projection of power, and especially being the leaders of the free world that the country is. I've always agreed with us having a presence on the global scale, because if we don't, somebody else will. Also, it's always been in our best interest not to always fight the wars, not on the home front, right, but overseas. Not agree to do it, but we don't want to bring it back home, all the drama and stuff like that. We would rather do it. We'd rather help other people or keep the peace around the world. But a lot of that stuff is changing, man. I know because I get accused now of being a liberal when I talk about this kind of stuff, and I'm not. And I'll keep on talking about it because that's the history of it. I don't think it's in anybody's best interest to lie to yourself of why we do what we do. I'm not saying it can't change, and I'm not saying that you can't have your opinion. Not you, but some people I talk to who are on the. These are the MAGA type people, right? That I talk to, because I still consider myself a conservative and a Republican in the MAGA. That's why I don't call MAGA like a political. I call them a movement. Because there's some things I agree with, some things I don't. There's things that they they agree with me, and some things they don't. One of the things is like the projection of military power. But things are in flux right now, bro. It's crazy. So for the NATO thing, I don't. I've always felt that way. As like I think NATO's it is old, right? And it doesn't serve in our best interests, right? Just like what's happening right now. The reason they want Ukraine to join NATO is they want to tie us to Ukraine, the U.S. Because if Ukraine goes into NATO, dude, Russia's gonna attack, and then if Russia's gonna attack, right? Then you have Europe talking all this yin yang, right? About yeah, okay, we're gonna send troops, we're gonna support them, and all this kind of stuff. What they really mean is that'll force our hand because they'll be a NATO country, and if they're a NATO ally, then we have to step in. That's why I wouldn't be surprised if that a lot of people thought at this address he was gonna say that we're leaving NATO, and he was talking about NATO today, like they don't pay their fair share. If I have any thought on Trump, it's simply I don't believe one day him and a group of South African apartheid kids woke up one day and said, "Man, we really have to look out for lower class people." I mean, but he has a history, right? He is a businessman, but one thing I do appreciate him, he understands that people are part of the business structure, right? You have to have good people, and that's one of the things I think he's good at. And you're kind of seeing that now. Whether people are, and I'm saying apart from the side that you might agree or disagree with his politics, right? I'm saying the people that he's putting into place, man, you can't fault the action that's been taking place in less than 2 months. He's done in more 2 months than Biden did in 4 years, and thank God because Biden absolutely ruined this country. But as far as with Trump, man, dude, it's not, dude. If that's why a lot of people is like, dang, what? It's been 2 months. It feels like a year. Like people really saying that, right? Because he's just at warp speed, and there's reasons for him doing that, dude. Right? Like even Trump, like I don't know if you heard today, but Trump said that he's going to extend to the white farmers in South Africa that'll give them a citizenship here, fast tracking, if they want to. But it's my understanding a lot of those farmers don't want to leave, bro. So they'll probably get killed. If I was them, I would go. I understand their plight, understand their situation. A lot of them has been there for generations, you know. But I think it because I mean they've been dying for what several years now. So oh wait, sorry. Uh, Coach says I kind of agree with not helping all wars, but this one I'm not for. Ukraine's got getting stolen via a dictator. If we don't stand against a dictator, we're basically supporting them. Yeah, and I think that's why. I mean, definitely Trump wants to bring an end to all of this stuff. Because look, dude, the pulse of the nation, regardless what a lot of the politics say, dude, a lot of the people do not want to go to war. It's one of the reasons why the youth folk came out for him in numbers that it did. Right? It was a big shift, dude. It threw a lot of the analysts off. And I don't. All the analysts are biased, dude. When it comes to politics, dude, all these people should be fired, in my personal opinion, because they don't check their bias, right? And then they're absolutely shocking out, especially with the young male vote. Right? It's just like, okay, I vote for her, probably gonna go to war. I vote for him. He says he's gonna stop the war. Okay, I'll take my chances with him. And I can't blame him, dude, because it's gonna, it's the younger generation that's gonna fight it. But yeah, I agree, dude. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in Ukraine, and honestly, that's none of my business. And people push back on me too. They're like, "Oh, I thought you were for projection of power and stuff like that." I'm like, dude, they're not our ally. We have nothing with them. We have no treaty, right? Where people try to equate Ukraine to Japan or what we do in South Korea or Taiwan or Israel. And I'm like, yeah, but those are our allies. We actually have treaties and we have stuff with them, right? And we have business interests with them, all this kind of stuff. So the stuff like that's happening in Ukraine, man, that's all shady too. So no, I don't think it's gonna really help us. All right, let me get back to this brother real quick, and then I'll answer questions
Beneath the dome of this
as we go.
Capitol and proclaim the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started. Thank you. I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before. The American dream is unstoppable, and our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed and perhaps will never witness again. There's never been anything like it.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
The presidential election of November 5th was a mandate like has not been seen in many decades. We won all 7 swing states, giving us an electoral college victory of 312 votes.
So this is the part where he scripts his stuff, man. This part of the speech.
We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
Oh, here we go.
And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525, on a map that reads almost completely red for Republican.
Sorry, the first time I was listening to it, it's another thing to watch it and see it go down like this. All right, sorry.
Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever. Likewise, small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded.
Mr. President.
A 41-point jump.
Here we go. Here we go. All right, let's go, man.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant at Arms to restore order to the joint session.
Oh, snap. This is way better live.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant at Arms to restore order.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Oh, man.
Go.
Dude, it's probably why it was 2 hours, right? This stuff like this.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you. Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive.
I'm sorry, guys. I enjoy this kind of stuff. I do. I find it entertaining. So, yeah, but that's you gotta look, dude. I know, and Republicans have done stuff too back in the day. But at the end of the day, dude, you gotta kind of maintain. You know what I'm saying?
executive orders and taken more than 400 executive actions, a record to restore common sense, safety, optimism, and wealth all across our wonderful land. The people elected me to do the job, and I'm doing.
Sorry again. I gotta, dude. That's why you don't do that, dude. I can tell already right now, right? Because this is where, when I was listening to it, it was kind of going in and out, going in, and then it died. So, man, how far? Yeah, 25. No, 15 minutes, right? 10, 15 minutes. All right. But I can already see, man, where this is going, dude. President Trump isn't one to waste an opportunity. So we'll see.
Doing it. In fact, it has been stated by many that the first month of our presidency, it's our presidency,
Oh,
is
there
the
you go.
most successful in the history of our nation. By many. And what makes it even more impressive is that, you know who number 2 is? George Washington. How about that? How about that? I don't know about that list, but we'll take it. Within hours of taking the oath of office, I declared a national.
Dude, that's what I talk about, dude. This dude, man, this ego. And he'll throw it out there. You saw what he did. He threw it out there. I know probably was like, going around in his mind a little bit. He's like, screw it. Boom. Rolls the dice. Oh, that's so funny.
Emergency on our southern border, and I deployed the U.S. military and border patrol to repel the invasion of our country. And what a job they've done. As a result, illegal border crossings last month were by far the lowest ever recorded, ever.
Yeah, he's been working overtime on that. He picked the right dude for the job, too.
They heard my words and they chose not to come. Much easier that way.
Well, you know why, too? He's actually taking action. He put the right person in charge, and they hit the ground running, dude. And that's why, dude, it sends shockwaves, right? That's why the crossings are so low now. And that's all it took, man. They just had to enforce the law. Not complicated.
In comparison, under Joe Biden, the worst president in American history, there were hundreds of thousands of illegal crossings a month, and virtually all of them, including murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and people from mental institutions and insane asylums, were released into our country. Who would want to do that? This is my 5th such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy.
Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. This dude, man.
To make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history, or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what.
Oh my gosh.
5 times I've been up here. It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way.
Dang, straight to their face. And look at them. Look at all these dudes, man. Look at their faces, dude. All salty and sour. Oh my gosh, dude. Look at that. Man, he nailed them. See, and this is another thing that he can do. Man, he knows how to work a room, bro. I'm just being straight up. And they have their little signs too. Look at the look on their faces. He just basically told them exactly what they're doing, and they're just sitting there, just proving him right. That's so sad. Dude, for politicians, these people are horrible. Oh my.
So, Democrats sitting before me, for just this one night, why not join us in celebrating so many incredible wins for America? For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
Oh snap! Oh, look at them, dude. He's just basically like calling them out right now and giving them an opportunity. Like, look, dude, show a little bit of, dude. This is nuts. This is nuts, man. And I apologize because there's some stuff I had heard. Like I know he announces stuff later on down the line, and what you're looking at right now is basically what they were the whole night. That's my understanding. Dang, dude, that's crazy. That he can read these dudes like a book. And it's not that they're hard, dude. They can't help themselves, dude. These people aren't happy. Look at them, dude. They're joyless. They're hateful. A couple people smiling there, right? Finding it a little bit entertaining and funny. But for the most part, just look at them, dude. Hey, man, just bitter. Sad.
Every day, my administration is fighting to deliver the change America needs to bring a future that America deserves, and we're doing it. This is a time for big dreams and bold action. Upon taking office, I imposed an immediate freeze on all federal hiring, a freeze on all new federal regulations, and a freeze on all foreign aid.
It happened in real time, dude. I can speak on everything. Close everything.
I terminated the ridiculous Green New Scam. I withdrew from the unfair Paris Climate Accord, which was costing us trillions of dollars that other countries were not paying.
Yeah.
I withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization.
Boom. Yeah. Don't need that either.
And I also withdrew from the anti-American UN Human Rights Council.
Yeah. I was gonna say I withdrew us out of
We
the UN.
ended all of Biden's environmental restrictions that were making our country far less safe and totally unaffordable. And importantly, we ended the last administration's insane electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto workers and companies from economic destruction.
Yeah, boom. All of it. Less than 2 months.
To unshackle our economy, I have directed that
Oh.
for
Sorry, Katie, man. I was on the other screen. What is it? Katie said. KT said Trump filed 7 bankruptcies for failed businesses. He's not good at business, to be honest. Also, he's offering citizenship to white Africans when he said no African countries could get gold cards. Yeah, but I mean, we do that all the time, right? If there's certain situations, that's one of the things you hear about a lot of the people that are coming over the border. Like what they're supposed to do is go to a port of entry, and they have to have a reason for coming in, and it usually has to be, loss of life. If like the country that they're leaving, if they're under threat of dying, stuff like that. There has to be like a really good reason. You just can't just come over the border. But you can, like, a lot of people that are in those situations, they can go to the port of entries and seek asylum. And that's basically what he's offering to the white African farmers, because they're probably going to be killed. And then his 7 bankruptcies, yeah, dude. I mean, the amount of people that go bankrupt. Right? I mean, I just stand on the fact of what he has now. Right? Risk reward. I'm a risk and reward kind of guy. So hopefully, man, you lose sometimes, but hopefully you can win, and that's what matters at the end of the day. When you're a businessman, because you learn a lot from failure, and he's not the only one. Now, how that applies to our policies and stuff like that, we'll see. Because he's going all in. This he knows he has 4 years, bro. He's gonna go all in. That's why I said on my X account, bro. I was telling a lot of people, it's been less than 2 months, man. If you gotta you gotta pace yourself, man, or you ain't gonna make it. The first year is gonna be brutal for a lot of people. To make that statement as the Dow started tanking was wild. Yeah, I mean the Dow, like when it comes to stocks and stuff like that, dude, I just look at my 401k. And on it, and doing um, his first term as president, dude. That's the most my 401k ever grew. It was such a noticeable amount. It's just not the yearly gains that you get, a little bit that you get every year, and you just save and roll it up, save and roll up. There's a substantial addition of money in my 401k when he was president the first time. I'm hoping for that again, because in Biden's term, man, lost money, right? That went down. Hopefully with him, it'll go back up. Hard to say though. He's doing a tariff war, and there's a lot of stuff that he's trying to adjust. And we'll see, man. I mean, look, and again, guys, my own politics aside, my own self-preservation aside, for some of the stuff that he's doing, man, I just find this just absolutely fascinating. I understand there's some stuff that he's doing that it could affect me personally, man, and I'm aware of that, but I just can't help but see what he's gonna do. Because some of the stuff has never been done before, right? And we're like for a person like myself who follows politics, right? It's like uncharted territory. Now it could be like the ultimate of highs where we exceed all expectations, or we could just crash and burn. Right? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I have like I said, I have my opinions. I have my, the stuff I look at and what I believe and what based on certain things that I study and look at this. I am very politically charged, right? So more than most people, and I'm not saying that makes me an expert. I mean, I do follow it. So I mean, it could be like you said, the new golden age of America, or we can have some really tough challenges, man, and then everything goes south. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys, man. I'm here. I'm along for the ride. That's why I'm doing this. Ghost said, I feel my biggest problem with Trump is he's entertainment over facts. It's just kind of worrying to see how many Americans support a circus over what they actually benefit us. I would just say, KT, like it depends on the person, like on the American per se, right? If you're a person that has nothing to lose, if you're a person that wants to change, if you're a person that is in a bad situation and you're just looking for something to make it better. And yeah, there's entertainment factor. There's people who have business interests. There's people that have money that he'll benefit. There's people that don't have that. There's people that will benefit from him being in office. There's people that won't benefit, right? Especially if you've been on the other side of the aisle. I don't know if you knew this, man. DC voted 93% for Kamala Harris, and you see what he's doing into Washington DC specifically. That's why they voted for Kamala, because they knew what time it was, man. Those people aren't stupid, right? They knew the gravy train was over, dude. They knew they were going to come in and start cutting. The government as we have it now, dude, it's not feasible, bro. There's a lot of stuff we do in this country when it comes to government that's not feasible, and and so either you got to deal with it now, it's gonna deal with this later. And for me, that's my personal thing too. I've always been that, like I said, I'm a conservative, so I look at it from that way. Now he definitely fed his fan base 100. He just didn't give us much honesty though. I mean, it depends, KT. Again, bro. I mean, you're looking at one side of it, right? Like those Democrats that are on his right side that he's looking on, that he just called out. Yeah, you have people like that. Then you have everybody else. At the end of the day, dude, most people, the reason why they're giving him a chance, man, is like a lot of people are hurting financially. The way politics works, man, everything is local, dude. Most people don't care until it starts affecting them, and that's the reason why. Right? It doesn't matter. People don't care about gender. People don't care about equality and all this kind of stuff when they can't eat, when they can't afford to pay their bills, when they might go homeless, right? This is stuff that's integral to people's survival. Right? This is why you see people cutting back on so much stuff, dude. Nothing's important now, dude. It's like I gotta pay my bills, pay my rent, and then make sure I got food on the table. Especially if you have a family. Right? He did well across all demographics, and that's why people say, well, he didn't win the demographics. You don't need to win every demographic, bro. You just need that. You need like a good portion of it, and that's what he got. Especially with certain groups, man. That's why a lot of these people were in shock and awe when he won, as they always are. Do be saying anything that sounds good. This man a bad actor. Folks just eat it up. It's crazy in my opinion. I don't know, man. That's a lot of people. If he a bad actor, then a lot of people have bad taste. Remember, he won the electoral college and he won the popular vote with everything that's going against him, bro. Media, everything, dude. They was trying to they tried to assassinate this dude. Right? They tried to stick his ass in jail. They was trying to lawfare him. Everything they tried, bro, and what they didn't realize, they kept on doing it, and then that's what woke people up. There were some people that didn't like that. There's people now that don't like him, but they realize something, right? And this is something that's key to human nature that a lot of these people don't understand when it comes to politics, dude. Is when you do that to somebody, and then I'm watching you do that to a person. I always in the back of people's minds, I always look at the person doing that. And I was like, if it's, I wonder if that was me, if he would do that, right? Then it's a self-preservation thing, and they start reflecting on that person and what they would do to them. And there's a ton of video out there where people say that, and then some of them, to justify the good part of what they're about to say, they have to go down that long line as, look, I can't stand him. I think he's stupid. I think he's got a loud mouth. I still think he's racist. But what they did to him, look, at the end of the day, man, that's what it boils down to. That's why he got a lot of the stuff that he got. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's up, Daniel? Just doing a little bit of political Friday night hangout, bro. I wanted to do this because I wanted to have a reaction. I'll try and get through this, but this is probably going to be long.
Every one new regulation, 10 old regulations must be eliminated, just like I did in my very successful first term.
Yeah. He's doing that as well. Like his first term.
And in that first term, we set records on ending unnecessary rules and regulations like no other president had done before. We ordered all federal workers to return to the office. They will either show up for work in person or be removed from their job. And we have ended weaponized government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good.
Oh my gosh, dude. He doesn't care, dude. He does not care. Look at him, dude. He's going to go all in on this.
Not too good.
That's why that dude shouldn't have stood up, bro. I don't think he would have been like this if that dude stood up. If he hadn't stood up. Now the gloves are off, dude. They're going to get that work.
And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back. And 2 days ago, I signed an order making English the official language of the United States of America.
See, it's stuff like that he does, right? Now, there's a method to the madness. If I hadn't said that in another video, right? One of the things that can happen that's really good is you make it English. You can save a lot of money on all the paperwork and the documentation and people that you got to pay to make sure that's in every language. I personally think English should be the official language. Right, I do believe in e pluribus unum. I'm not saying you can't speak your own language. Speak whatever you want to speak. We're a country of different cultures and ethnicities and stuff like that, right? But at the end of the day, if it's going to be official, it should be English. And then it can save, like I said, one of the things that's going to happen is it's going to save a lot of money because when you notice, if you see like you see on your state level, this is federal, guys, not state level. Like the state that I live in. Like when they send out any type of notification from the city or the state, it's done in like all these different languages because all the different people that live here. Right? It would be cheaper for them if everybody learned English, and that's what I would do, dude. If I went to live in France, bro, I would learn French. If I went to Japan, I would learn Japanese. If I went to South Korea, I would learn South Korea. If I was going to become a citizen, but even if I was going to live there, I'd try to learn the language, right? Because there's certain countries in the world. America is very rare, and I'm not trying to take away from that. I think it's one of the good things actually about the country. I do like the melting pot. I don't believe in the salad model. but I do like the melting pot model because there is a lot of stuff that we get out of there, right? A fusion and the melding of cultures produces some really cool and interesting stuff, right? So I don't have a problem with that. But at the end of the day, dude, if it's everything is gonna be official, it should be in English.
I renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
Oh man, that was another good one. Gulf of America.
And likewise, I renamed for a great president, William McKinley, Mount McKinley again. Beautiful Alaska. We love Alaska. We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military.
So just to let you guys know, dude, where I work, man, that happened super fast. Dude, I'm talking like next day. Once that executive order came out, boom. Next day, they was pulling people was turning to at work, trying to pull everything down because it's all over the place, right? You have to go check all the boards. You have to go check online, make sure your web pages. They pulled everything down. That was no joke. That was fast. That was within a day or two. And then once they found stuff that was there, it better be there because somebody missed it or forgot about it. But if you purposely left it up, dude, you got in trouble. Real talk.
And our country will be woke no longer.
Yeah. No more
We believe that
weaponization.
whether you are a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an air traffic controller, you should be hired and promoted based on skill and competence, not race or gender. Very important. You should be hired based on merit. And the Supreme Court, in a brave and very powerful decision, has allowed us to do so. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. We have removed the poison of critical race theory from our public schools, and I signed an order making it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Dude, how long was this, right? I think it was an hour. There's no way this was 2 hours. Anyway, but again, dude, imagine having to hating every minute of this and having to sit there and listen to it and take it all in. That's crazy. That's what we call a long night.
I also signed an executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports.
Yep.
3 years ago, Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury, partially paralyzing her right side and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team or they will lose all federal funding.
Yeah. Yep. That's bad. I don't even know how that's a discussion, dude. Honestly. Dude, again, man, this is why he won. Getting back to common sense, being practical, right? Understanding. how biology works, right? And it's not even the majority of the country, and it shouldn't even be this way, dude. It's sad, and then this girl suffers from it because people are stupid, and there's adults above her that are dumb, that don't live in reality like everybody else.
And if you really want to see numbers, just take a look at what happened in the women's boxing, weightlifting, track and field, swimming, or cycling, where a male recently finished a long distance race 5 hours and 14 minutes ahead of a woman for a new record by 5 hours. Broke the record by 5 hours. It's demeaning for women, and it's very bad for our country. We're not going to put up with it any longer. What I have just described is only a small fraction of the common sense revolution that is now, because of us, sweeping the entire world. Common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back. Never. Never going to let that happen. Among my very highest priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families.
There we go.
As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed
Look
up
at him. He's just
grocery
staring at him.
costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. They've never had anything like it. We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again.
I gotta say, I know it's been only 2 months, but that's something that he's gonna laser focus on. People are giving him a little bit of leeway for him to do what he needs to do, but he can't lose sight of that. I don't think he is. I'm not saying he is, but that's probably one of the most important things. Because again, like I said earlier, it's something that hits closer to home with most voters. I'll even go and say, man, some of the cutbacks that he's doing is affecting people. Some of those people voted for him, right? So, and I'm pretty sure he's aware of that, man. He's got a pretty smart group of people around him, dude. They're not ideologues, right? At the end of the day, they understand what they're doing. That's why they're doing measured steps, but they're also going all in on stuff. And they're doing so many things all at one time, multiple stuff. That's why it was important for him to get his cabinet approved, the people that he needed in place. If you look at the people, again, that's working with him and working for him, a lot of them are not, are nothing. It's a whole new crew of people, so different from 2016 during his first term. And now, there are reasons for that, right? And so I know they're hitting on all cylinders, but still, I know this is, this is not fair, but he has to move on this, at least before the first 100 days. I think people will give him a couple months, right? But within that 100-day period, when he has to address the nation again to the State of the Union, he needs to have something, right?
Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control. The egg price is out of control, and we're working hard to get it back down. Secretary, do a good job on that. You inherited a total mess from the previous administration. Do a good job.
Yeah, let them boo. It's important that he says that, dude. I mean, he's only been in for about 2 months, right? A lot of this stuff was sent to him. This is why he did the Gulf of America thing, right? When he came in, they were trying to stop the drilling in the Gulf of Mexico, right? And then you gotta ask yourself why? Why did they do stuff like that? And then just referencing what he said earlier, with the Green New Deal and all that crap they had us tied to, right? And don't get it twisted, guys. It's not just about saving the planet and energy. It's all about the money, and then attached to the money is the power and the influence for a lot of these people, right? Green energy is not nowhere near where it needs to be in order to produce the levels of energy we need for this society, not just ours but everyone, this entire planet, to move forward. Right, and that's why I think it's awesome. Awesome in the sense that one of the things I love the most is when a lot of the tech giants were all, coming on board, right? Because they know, man, these guys deal in zeros and ones, man, and they deal in reality because it's hardwired, right? And in order for them to go beyond what they want to do, they know that they need energy, and green energy ain't gonna cut it. Even though a lot of these companies, corporations, some of these CEOs were sitting out there touting green energy and being and look, there's nothing wrong with being conservative with your energy uses and stuff like that, but that's not something that you should put on everybody across the entire planet. And then you try and guilt people, and try and guilt people and feel like they're selfish. How dare you, drive a car that has gas? You should get electric. All that crap, dude. Right? And then all of that stuff falls apart when you look. At the end of the day, everything needs to be produced, and production costs energy. Right? It's all like people just didn't look at it deeply. People want to feel good, right? Some people might feel guilty about their station in life. There's something they hang on to make themselves feel better. But at the end of the day, it just ends up hurting everybody. You gotta be realistic about this stuff, man. Everybody wants to save the planet, but how do we get there? Can we afford it? Do we have the means? Do we have the technology? Right? And if you think a little bit more with a lot of common sense, like you're saying, but just a little bit more clear thought, right? And put all that stuff aside, then allow people to find ways to get to that next level. Right? We've been doing this the entire history of Western civilization. Shouldn't stop now. It's benefited us a lot. So I'm glad he's calling this stuff out, dude, because he needed to.
A major focus of our fight to defeat inflation is rapidly reducing the cost of energy.
Yeah.
The previous administration cut the number of new oil and gas leases by 95%, slowed pipeline construction to a halt, and closed more than 100 power plants. We are opening up many of those power plants right now.
Yeah. And nuclear. And go nuclear.
And frankly, we have never seen anything like it. That's why on my first day in office, I declared a national energy emergency.
Yep.
As you've heard me say many times, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any nation on earth, and by far. And now I fully authorize the most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill.
Yeah.
My administration is also working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner with investments of trillions of dollars each. There's never been anything like that one. It will be truly spectacular. It's all set to go. The permitting is gotten. And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA.
Nice.
To further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but will be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars.
Nice. 100%. Whoosh.
And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency. DOGE. Perhaps.
See, I like how he said it. I have created. Right? That's a clap back at the people that are saying that Elon's running everything and he's not.
You've heard of it.
He's like the rest of the people that are there. He's an advisor status. Serves at the behest of the President of the United States. And those powers are granted the president by the executive branch, right? Because that's what he is. Right? He's the commander-in-chief. And that's why he gets to do the things that he does.
Perhaps. Which
Oh, look at this dude. He's wearing a suit. Oh, that's funny, man. Because you know how they were yelling at Zelensky because of what he was wearing, and even a reporter said something. And look at Elon now. They probably told him, "Bro, put on a tie." He wears a coat, right? He doesn't dress like a slob, but he does wear a coat. Typical, tech CEO type of dress. But like now he's wearing a, and it is Congress, right? I'm saying like they're addressing Congress, so he probably knows the foibles, right, of what he's supposed to look like, how he's supposed to dress. So that's good.
Is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight.
Well, the Lord's work. Trying to find that money.
Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe. They just don't want to admit that. Just listen to some.
Dude, you know why he did that, right? Since people are waving those little signs being irritating, so he just shoots them back out at them, dude. That's hilarious, bro. This dude should have been a comedian.
Of the appalling waste we have already identified.
Okay.
$22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real. $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. $1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her? A $3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City.
Yeah, that one news.
He's a real estate developer. He's done very well. $250,000 to increase vegan local climate action innovation in Zambia. $42 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia.
Just really quickly, a lot of this is probably the USAID stuff, and a lot of people like listen to this stuff and wondering why we're doing that. There's a reason we do that kind of stuff, right? They want to sway the culture in these countries, right? America. It's one of the things that USAID did. I think they had a more noble purpose back when they were created. Even though I'm not a big proponent of creating government, big government, and government entities, because the problem with government entities is they never really go away. Well, up until now. Hopefully the president can correct this, because it really needs to be corrected. They've lost sight of what they're supposed to do. USAID is supposed to be like almost like a public affairs office for America. Right? We provide aid to other countries, and when they see that we do that, they look at us differently, look at us in a different light, maybe respect us or like us more, so that we're able to help them, and then we can help them see the vision that we have of what democracy is and stuff like that. Like when Reagan talked about this, the shining city on a hill, right? But when your own government is broken and your own system is broken, how can you actually help other people? We really have to fix everything that's here first. That's a big problem, right? And on top of that, what USA ended up turning into is like a left leaning, um, liberal socialist. I'm being honest, a Marxist communist type of organization. Because a lot of the stuff that they're doing there, they do it by saying like they're helping these people, but what they want to do is they want to influence the people. Like there was a level of influence even before. That's why it was kind of created to influence other countries and help them win them over to our side, right? It was the soft power that they talk about. But what happened is USA turned from soft power of helping countries to actually a radical type of mentality, a radical organization that are trying to pretty much indoctrinate. This is what, and a lot of you guys, again, if you're on this channel, you watch this video, it's a video game channel. That's what you see happening in pop culture, and video games is one of those things, right? A lot of the stuff that's created, you sit there and wonder why. You know, why is this in a game? Why am I playing this character? Why is it? Why is the story like this? It has nothing to do with anything science fiction or fantasy or a game being a shooter, right? It's a lot of the people that are in the industry, number one, that believe in this type of ideology, because a lot of them went to college and got indoctrinated there. What USA does is they take the governmental arm and do that. Again, I talked about this on the channel. This was one of the countries, and a lot of our allies don't like that we were doing. We were doing that. We were trying to influence them, right? Like going to the Middle East and create these things to have to promote cultural diversity, because you do that, right? You have a lot of these countries that are one ethnicity, or if they're multiple ethnicity, there's still one major ethnicity, right? Like where I live, there's a lot of people that are islanders, right? So that they're Polynesian, right? But there's different types of Polynesian, right? So you can live in a country that's a lot of people would just look at somebody that's brown, like in the Middle East, and think they're just Arabs or Arabic or whatever. And then what ends up happening is that there's shades of brown within that, right? And there's because there's a culture, there's a history there, right? So a lot of these people believe a certain way because they are the same. They have a close knit culture, and when that close knit culture pushes against the ideology of people that work at these organizations, right, or these government organizations, this is why you have a Middle Eastern Sesame Street, as he says, right? Because like what we did here with Sesame Street, and bring up a generations of people and children, right, that have fond memories of Sesame Street and what they teach. They're doing that too. Unfortunately, when they do that, they're doing it with their ideology, and that's why a lot of countries hated that we did that. That's why people are shocked when a lot of Arab-leaning countries like President Trump, right? Because he's very straight and very direct.
$47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well with learning.
Yeah, I don't think they need our money. I think they surpassed us actually. We could actually use that money now.
I don't know what we're doing. Should use it ourselves.
Yeah, we could.
And $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education, the most ever paid. Nothing even like it. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them. They're so bad. Many more have been found out and exposed and swiftly terminated by a group of very intelligent, mostly young people, headed up by Elon, and we appreciate it. We found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud.
Yep. Good job, Elon. Good job, Doge. Oh, just to let you guys know, man, if my internet goes fuzzy, I apologize.
And we've taken back the money and reduced our debt to fight inflation and other things. Taking back a lot of that money. We got it.
Yeah, and I know one of the things Elon talked about was that I think by the end of the year, in the next couple months, it's like if you have a credit card bill and the bill comes due, we're trying to avoid the interest on that payment, which is like 2.3 trillion or something like that. It was some ridiculous number he said. So that's why they're working at warp speed to get this stuff under control, and that's why they're cutting and doing some of the stuff that they're doing, and it's brutal. I'm seeing people getting hurt right now, and it sucks. But I mean, that's what they're trying to meet. They have a lot of stuff on the clock. If I were you, man, I would really look at that Doge clock, and you can actually set a lot of the stuff that's happening with the Doge clock to what they're trying to do. It's amazing, actually.
Just in time. This is just the beginning. The Government Accountability Office, a federal government office, has estimated annual fraud of over $500 billion in our nation, and we are working very hard to stop it. We're going to. We're also identifying shocking levels of incompetence and probable fraud in the Social Security program for our seniors, and that our seniors and people that we love rely on. Believe it or not, government databases list 4.7 million Social Security members from people aged 100 to 109 years old. It lists 3.6 million people from ages 110 to 119. I don't know any of them. I know some people that are rather elderly, but not quite that elderly. 3.47 million people from ages 120 to 129. 3.9 million people from ages 130 to 139. 3.5 million people from ages.
Sorry, I love that. See what they were chirping on the other side, so he just focused all his attention on them and just reading the numbers. Because at the end of the day, dude, that all that matters. Because those dudes have these signs up over there, right? And they're shouting probably like they're trying to steal, because that's what they've been doing on the news. They're trying to steal our social security, dude. You don't need the money. Elon doesn't need the money, right? You know who needs the money? Those guys. They need the money. You get paid $174,000 a year or $225,000 a year, and your net worth is in the millions. That's not possible. Right, the gravy train's over, man. It's and the sad thing about it is these guys purport themselves to care about Social Security, especially the elderly, right? And the money's being wasted or stolen, and probably both, right? So either way, it's bad, and you need to correct that because that's money that they can use and add more to Social Security. Right? People's benefits are being lost, being wasted, being stolen. Right? That's why you can't. These people, man, they. And it's funny to me, man, because they think the people like us are stupid that we can't see what they're doing, right? And that's why they say, "Oh, they're trying to steal Social Security." No, you're saying they're trying to steal it because you guys are stealing it. You the guys, you the crooks. If they fix all this stuff, there's more money in the pot, right? And then more money can be given to people's Social Security. And already he put in I think he has his tax plan in, or his budget plan, right? Because they got to work on it next week. That'll be fun. I'll probably do another video like this. Where what they need to do, man, is they need to pass his tax cuts, and one of the tax cuts is no tax on Social Security, which blows my mind that they would do that. I don't like taxes in general. If you guys know me, you guys know I think taxes is absolute evil. But I like that he's doing this. He's using the numbers and he's looking at right straight to their face.
140 to 149, and money is being paid to many of them, and we're searching right now. In fact, Pam, good luck. Good luck.
Yeah.
You're going to find it. But a lot of money is paid out to people because it just keeps getting paid, and nobody does. And it really hurts Social Security and hurts our country. 1.3 million people from ages 150 to 159, and over 130,000 people, according to the Social Security databases, are age over 160 years old. We have a healthier country than I thought, Bobby.
Oh, that was awesome. Oh, they just stood up too.
Including.
So just to let you guys know, man, this is when I talk about the Trump that I grew up with. This is the Trump I grew up with. The '90s Trump, the champagne wishes and the caviar dreams. Right, it's part of who he is. It's personality, and at his age, it's nice to see that he hasn't lost it. It's perfect timing.
To finish, 1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229. One person between the age of 240 and 249, and one person is listed at 360 years of age. More than 100 years. More than 100 years older than our country. But we're going to find out where that money's going.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for, right? Because it could be error, right? Unchecked systems, something falling through the cracks. Definitely, that could be this. Again, this is the problem with government, man. The largest of it, right? Or at the end of the day, man, they have that one person there, and just somebody's been collecting that check, right? Or some agency might have been collecting that check, or somebody's sister's brother's cousin's uncle been collecting that check, and that's what I want them to find out. And when they do find it, man, just drop the hammer on them, because that's basically stealing. Or it could be user error, or it could be something a break in what do they call that, a glitch in the matrix, right? It could be all of that. It could be any one of those things. But at the end of the day, they need to solve it, right? Because it's just a waste of money.
And it's not going to be pretty. By slashing all of the fraud, waste, and theft we can find, we will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families.
It's funny, dude. When it's negative, you stare right at him, and then when it's a positive, that he switches to the other side, dude. Awesome.
And today, interest rates took a beautiful drop, big, beautiful drop. It's about time. And in the near future, I want to do what has not been done in 24 years, balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it.
Dang. There you go, man. That's a Herculean effort right there. It'd be amazing, dude. If he could do that, dude, he would be the number one president of all time. If he could do that. $37 trillion in debt. Dude, that would be crazy. That would be amazing if he could do it. And I hope he can. I hope he can. It'll be better for the country. Oh, is that some Democrats standing up? Is that Democrats? Or is it still Republican on the side? Oh, I think that's cool, man. That's cool if they did, bro. That's something everybody should be behind. Getting rid of that debt. Not burdening the not burdening future generations. Being fiscally solvent, you know.
With that goal in mind, we have developed in great detail what we are calling the Gold Card, which goes on sale very, very soon.
This is awesome. I love this.
For $5 million, we will allow the most successful job creating people from all over the world to buy a path to U.S. citizenship. It's like the green card, but better and more sophisticated.
Dude, I love that, dude. In fact, I'd say $10 million.
And these people will have to pay tax in our country. They won't have to pay tax from where they came. The money that they've made, you wouldn't want to do that, but they have to pay tax, create jobs. They'll also be taking people out of colleges and paying for them so that we can keep them in our country instead of having them being forced out. Number one, at the top school, as an example, being forced out and not being allowed to stay and create tremendous numbers of jobs and great success for a company out there. So while we take out the criminals, killers, traffickers, and child predators who are allowed to enter our country under the open border policy of these people, the Democrats, the Biden administration,
Oh man, he doesn't care, dude. He's going all in.
the open border insane policies that you've allowed to destroy our country, we will now bring in brilliant, hardworking, job creating people. They're going to pay a lot of money, and we're going to reduce our debt with that money.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't been paying attention to what he's doing, when you mentioned the gold card, people lost their minds. And people were confused too, all of that, right? But if you look at what he's doing with a lot of the deals he's trying to make, a lot of the bridges that he's building, a lot of the partnerships, and in some aspects, making people customers of ours. It's all about bringing in income, right? Like any business would do. He's treating it the country like a business because he's trying to offset the balance of the debt, right? So if you can pull more stuff in, it's just like what you would do for your personal finances. Like either you get a better paying job, right? And then when you come home at the end of the day, you kind of disperse where that money that you want where you want to put it, right? And a lot of it goes to paying down bills, paying down your debt, mortgage, all that kind of stuff. All your negative, all your negatives, right? You want to get rid of all that kind of stuff. That's basically what he's doing, right? That's why with the thing with Ukraine, when you talk about the mineral rights and stuff like that, it's a multifaceted thing, right? But one of the things I love about it is because that's one of the ways you can get your money back, right, from Ukraine, because we get them billions of dollars. So if we already gave them billions of dollars, why don't we give them billions of dollars back, or try to get billions of dollars back in rare earth minerals? And what he can do is, since they're the proprietors of that, right, because government money bought that, he can take that rare earth minerals and sell it to a company like Apple, who's opening a factory. They're going to open a factory back in the U.S. So you sell it to them, maybe at a discount, maybe at market price value, or maybe higher, right? Depending. And that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to generate a lot of this income, a lot of this profit, so that he can pay down the debt and make the U.S. more stable when it comes to the economy. Because the U.S. economy is in bad shape. Not just what we're going through now, but all the debt that we own. Right? And even for the I was talking to my friend the other day. We were talking about doing the gold card. I said, well, I think it'd be 10 million, and then give it to people in Ukraine, all these oligarchs, right? If Russia's going to run roughshod all over, the U.S. is going to. Europe wants to go to war. I'm pretty sure a lot of these guys want to leave their country. Then you bring them over here, right? And then you get your money back that way too. So I see a lot of positive with this. There's some negative, and then he's trying to bridge two gaps, because as I was saying, KT earlier, man, KT the GOAT earlier, there's a lot of differing belief systems and ideologies in the MAGA movement. Not on the level of far left or communist, communist manifesto speak, but at least on the right side, you're talking about stuff, because people have different belief systems, right? You have somebody like Elon Musk that just wants people to have green cards to just automatically get into jobs, and you have people that are like, no, dude, that should be American jobs. That's MAGA's, and there was not a big fight, man, but there's a thing going on. There was a little rift there for a couple months ago, right? And that was like probably one of the first big beefs that MAGA had with each other within the party, civil war or whatever. I don't consider it civil war. It's just differing of opinions, differing in ethics and cultures and all that stuff, right? And so obviously this is interesting, because I'm listening to this now, because that's the first time I'm hearing it. So he's trying to bridge the gap. I didn't know he was going to do that with the gold card, but it makes a lot of sense, right? Because at the end of the day, he wants to just grow. He wants to grow the economy.
Americans have given us a mandate for bold and profound change. For nearly 100 years, the federal bureaucracy has grown until it has crushed our freedoms, ballooned our deficits, and held back America's potential in every possible way. The nation founded by pioneers and risk takers now drowns under millions and millions of pages of regulations and debt. Approvals that should take 10 days to get instead take 10 years, 15 years, and even 20 years before you're rejected. Meanwhile, we have hundreds of thousands of federal workers who have not been showing up to work. My administration will reclaim power from this unaccountable bureaucracy, and we will restore true democracy to America again.
Yeah.
And any federal bureaucrat who resists this change will be removed from office
Boom.
immediately.
Yeah, they've already done that.
Because we are draining the swamp.
They've already done that. And then some people, man, they just don't realize, like, they've been too comfortable for too long in these positions, that they don't think the rules and anything applies to them, right? And that's not how it works. And people are getting escorted out of their offices, man. You get fired, and they're like, no, I'm not going anywhere, and they have to remove them. Right? You serve at the behest of this person right here, at the office, the behest of the office. Whoever occupies the office, that's who you answer to, right? Regardless, Republican, Democrat, whoever it is, dude. The people elect the executive in chief.
It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over.
Yep, 100%. Again, guys, bring up the AKB deal, right? FTC overstepping their boundaries, right? And this is the course correction, and it's needed, so we can avoid stuff like that, right? Because the largesse, again, of government And the bureaucracy, dude, this is what stifles everything. And we want to move forward.
And the next phase of our plan to deliver the greatest economy in history is for this Congress to pass tax cuts for everybody. They're in there, they're waiting for you to vote. And I'm sure that the people on my right, I don't mean the Republican right, but my right here, I'm sure you're going to vote for those tax cuts, because otherwise, I don't believe the people will ever vote you into office. So I'm doing you a big favor by telling you.
Oh, dang, dude, he go for the jugular, man. He don't. Oh my gosh, he's just going to the jugular. That's crazy, dude. He's just calling him out constantly. But that was. Oh man, that was brutal. And the interesting thing about him saying that, dude, is he's actually addressing the Republican side, because there's Republicans that don't want to vote on this bill, that don't believe in the tax cuts, because they're looking at the inflationary thing about it, dude. I don't really care, right? I'm gonna roll with this president when it comes to this. I believe that. I believe in tax. I don't believe in income tax at all. They should get rid of all taxes, because one of the problems with the bureaucracy that you just talked about, right, is that a lot of this money is going there. You need to cut it off. That's the only. You're gonna have to starve this stuff out, right? If not, dude, like money just walks away up there in Capitol Hill. So, if whatever it takes, man, to just to pigeonhole any type of spending that they do, that'd be great.
You there?
But that's crazy, dude. Just calling them out to their face. I think he's just tired of it, man. He's just looking at them and their faces and how bitter they are. It's just like a parent with a little kid, man. Sometimes your kid act up like that, dude. You ain't gonna deal with it. You're gonna handle that. And that's what he's doing right now, and I love it. I love it.
But I know this group is going to be voting for the tax.
Okay, who's not clapping? Who's not clapping? Who's not clapping? Where's Ron Paul?
Thank you. It's a very, very big part of our plan. We had tremendous success in our first term with it. A very big part of our plan. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors.
Nice. How about no tax on nobody?
Good luck.
I think you told Speaker Johnson good luck.
And I also want to make interest payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America.
There you go. Nothing made.
And by the way, we're going to have growth in the auto industry like nobody's ever seen. Plants are opening up all over the place. Deals are being made. Never seen. That's a combination of the election win and tariffs. It's a beautiful word, isn't it? That, along with our other policies, will allow our auto industry to absolutely boom. It's going to boom. Spoke to the majors today, all three, the top people, and they're so excited. In fact, already numerous car companies have announced that they will be building massive automobile plants in America, with Honda just announcing a new plant in Indiana, one of the largest anywhere in the world.
Honda's a huge brand in the US. I drive a Honda.
And this has taken place since our great victory on November 5th, a date which will hopefully go down as one of the most important in the history of our country. In addition, as part of our tax cuts, we want to cut taxes on domestic production and all manufacturing. And just as we did before, we will provide 100% expensing. It will be retroactive to January 20th, 2025. And it was one of the main reasons why our tax cuts were so successful in our first term, giving us the most successful economy in the history of our country, first term. We had a great first term. If you don't make your product in America, however, under the Trump administration, you will pay a tariff, and in some cases, a rather large one. Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them. And South Korea's average tariff is 4 times higher. Think of that, 4 times higher. And we give so much help militarily and in so many other ways.
Yeah, just real quick, dude. I didn't know that he's calling out everybody right now. I had no idea he was going to do this.
To South Korea, but that's what happens. This is happening by friend and foe. This system is not fair to the United States and never was. And so on April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day. That's not, just one day cost us a lot of money. But we're going to do it in April. I'm a very superstitious person.
You should have did April 1st. That would have been classic. It would have stuck with more people. It would have created a bigger buzz. Yeah, confusion, but a buzz nonetheless. So people would have rolled with it. I know I would have.
April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Whatever they tax us, we will tax them. If they do non-monetary tariffs to keep us out of their market, then we will do non-monetary barriers to keep them out of our market. There's a lot of that, too. They don't even allow us in their market. We will take in trillions and trillions of dollars and create jobs like we have never seen before. I did it with China and I did it with others, and the Biden administration couldn't do anything about it because there was so much money they couldn't do anything about it. We have been ripped off for decades by nearly every country on earth, and we will not let that happen any longer. Much has been said over the last 3 months about Mexico and Canada, but we have very large deficits with both of them. But even more importantly, they've allowed fentanyl to come into our country at levels never seen before, killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens and many very young, beautiful people, destroying families. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They are, in effect, receiving subsidies of hundreds of billions of dollars. We pay subsidies to Canada and to Mexico of hundreds of billions of dollars, and the United States will not be doing that any longer. We're not going to do it any longer. Thanks to our America First policies we're putting into place, we have had $1.7 trillion of new investment in America in just the past few weeks. The combination of the election and our economic policies that people of SoftBank, one of the most brilliant anywhere in the world, announced a $200 billion investment. OpenAI and Oracle, Larry Ellison, announced $500 billion investment, which they wouldn't have done if Kamala had won. Apple announced $500 billion investment. Tim Cook called me. He said, I cannot spend it fast enough. It's going to be much higher than that, I believe. They'll be building their plants here instead of in China. And just yesterday, Taiwan Semiconductor, the biggest in the world, most powerful in the world, has a tremendous amount, 97% of the market, announced a $165 billion investment to build the most powerful chips on earth right here in the USA. And we're not giving them any money. Your CHIPS Act is a horrible, horrible thing. We give hundreds of billions of dollars, and it doesn't mean a thing. They take our money and they don't spend it. All that meant to them, we're giving them no money. All that was important to them was they didn't want to pay the tariffs, so they came and they're building, and many other companies are coming. We don't have to give them money. We just want to protect our businesses and our people, and they will come because they won't have to pay tariffs if they build in America. So it's very amazing. You should get rid of the CHIP Act, and whatever's left over, Mr. Speaker, you should use it to reduce debt or any other reason you want to. Our new trade policy will also be great for the American farmer. I love the farmer.
Wow.
Who will now be selling into our home market, the USA, because nobody is going to be able to compete with you.
There we go.
Because there's goods that come in from other countries and companies. They're really in a bad position in so many different ways. They're uninspected. They may be very dirty and disgusting, and they come in and they pour in, and they hurt our American farmers. The tariffs will go on agricultural product coming into America, and our farmers, starting on April 2nd, it may be a little bit of an adjustment period. We had that before when I made the deal with China, $50 billion of purchases, and I said, just bear with me, and they did. They did. Probably have to bear with me again, and this will be even better. That was great. The problem with it was that Biden didn't enforce it. He didn't enforce it. $50 billion of purchases, and we were doing great, but Biden did not enforce it, and it hurt our farmers. But our farmers are going to have a field day right now. So to our farmers, have a lot of fun. I love you too. I love you too. It's all going to happen. And I have also imposed a 25% tariff on foreign aluminum, copper, lumber, and steel, because if we don't have, as an example, steel and lots of other things, we don't have a military, and frankly, we just won't have a country very long. Here today is a proud American steelworker, fantastic person from Decatur, Alabama, Jeff Denard. Has been working at the same steel plant for 27 years in a job that has allowed him to serve as the captain of his local volunteer fire department, raise 7 children with his beautiful wife, Nicole, and over the years provide a loving home for more than 40 foster children. So great, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff.
Oh,
Thank you, Jeff.
bring it back. Eat those, baby.
Stories like Jeff's remind us that tariffs are not just about protecting American jobs. They're about protecting the soul of our country. Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again. And it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much. No, you're not. Oh. And look where Biden took us. Very low, the lowest we've ever been. Jeff, I want to thank you very much. And I also want to recognize another person who has devoted herself to foster care community. She works so hard on it. A very loving person, our magnificent First Lady of the United States. Melania's work has yielded incredible results, helping prepare our nation's future leaders as they enter the workforce. Our First Lady is joined by 2 impressive young women, very impressive. Haley Ferguson, who benefited from the First Lady's Fostering the Future initiative, and is poised to complete her education and become a teacher. And Elliston Berry, who became a victim of an illicit deepfake image produced by a peer. With Elliston's help, the Senate just passed the Take It Down Act, and this is so important. Thank you very much, John. John Thune, thank you. Stand up, John. Thank you, John. Thank you all very much. Thank you. And thank you to John Thune and the Senate. Great job. To criminalize the publication of such images online is terrible, terrible thing. And once it passes the House, I look forward to signing that bill into law. Thank you. And I'm going to use that bill for myself, too, if you don't mind. Because nobody gets treated worse than I do online. Nobody. That's great. Thank you very much to the Senate. Thank you. But if we truly care about protecting Americans' children, no step is more crucial than securing America's borders. Over the past 4 years, 21 million people poured into the United States. Many of them were murderers, human traffickers, gang members, and other criminals from the streets of dangerous cities all throughout the world. Because of Joe Biden's insane and very dangerous open border policies, they are now strongly embedded in our country.
That could be like the new shot game, right? Every time you mention Joe Biden, you have to take a shot. Not saying it has to be alcohol, just saying.
Country, but we are getting them out and getting them out fast. And I want to thank Tom Homan and Christy. I want to thank you and Paul of Border Patrol. I want to thank you. What a job they've all done. Everybody, Border Patrol, ICE, well, law enforcement in general is incredible. We have to take care of our law enforcement. Have to. Last year, a brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Laken Riley, the best in her class, admired by everybody, went out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia. That morning, Laken was viciously attacked, assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and horrifically murdered. Laken was stolen from us by a savage illegal alien gang member who was arrested while trespassing across Biden's open southern border and then set loose into the United States under the heartless policies of that failed administration. It was indeed a failed administration. He had then been arrested and released in a Democrat-run sanctuary city, a disaster, before ending the life of this beautiful young angel. With us this evening are Laken's beloved mother, Allison, and her sister, Lauren. Last year, I told Laken's grieving parents that we would ensure their daughter would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act. It's called the Laken Riley Act. So Allison and Lauren, America will never, ever forget our beautiful Laken Hope Riley. Thank you very much. Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. Thank you.
He turned and looked at me.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Oh, oh, dang. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad. I mean, seriously, what happened to you?
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Yeah. Oh. My ears are not continuing. Holy cow. He's giving him that work, dude. Yeah.
Thank you. Joe Biden didn't just open our borders, he flew illegal aliens over them to overwhelm our schools, hospitals, and communities throughout the country. Entire towns like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, buckled under the weight of the migrant occupation and corruption like nobody's ever seen before. Beautiful towns destroyed. Now, just as I promised in my inaugural address, we are achieving the great liberation of America. But there still is much work to be done.
Oh, yeah.
Here tonight is a woman I have gotten to know, Alexis Nungari from Houston. Wonderful woman. Last June, Alexis's 12-year-old daughter, her precious Jocelyn, walked to a nearby convenience store. She was kidnapped, tied up, assaulted for 2 hours under a bridge, and horrifically murdered. Arrested and charged with this heinous crime are 2 illegal alien monsters from Venezuela, released into America by the last administration through their ridiculous open border. The death of this beautiful 12-year-old girl and the agony of her mother and family touched our entire nation greatly. Alexis, I promised that we would always remember your daughter, your magnificent daughter. And earlier tonight, I signed an order keeping my word to you. One thing I have learned about Jocelyn is that she loved animals so much. She loved nature. Across Galveston Bay, from where Jocelyn lived in Houston, you will find a magnificent national wildlife refuge, a pristine, peaceful, 34,000-acre sanctuary for all of God's creatures on the edge of the Gulf of America. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn.
Oh, man.
So, Mr. Vice President, if you would, may I have the order?
Okay, so that was everybody was talking about, man. Dude, regardless of the politics, dude, these dudes should be standing, dude. I'm talking about the Democrats. First of what I was hearing, there's like times in the speech where it was non-political, right? It was something that, you know, any person would understand, any parent, definitely. That's a parent's worst nightmare, right? They have something happen to their child. I know I'm a parent. You know, I have a son and a daughter. Nobody wants to get that phone call. Nobody wants to hear that news that something happened to their child, especially something like that, right? So this is something that everybody can identify with, and they just sit there. It's sad. Now I understand what people are talking about when they're talking about this stuff. These guys aren't standing at all. It's so sad.
Thank you very much. All three savages charged with Jocelyn and Lakin's murders were members of the Venezuelan prison gang, the toughest gang, they say, in the world, known as Tren de Aragua. 2 weeks ago, I officially designated this gang, along with MS-13 and the bloodthirsty Mexican drug cartels, as foreign terrorist organizations. They are now officially in the same category as ISIS, and that's not good for them. Countless thousands of these terrorists were welcomed into the U.S. by the Biden administration. But now every last one will be rounded up and forcibly removed from our country, or, if they're too dangerous, put in jails, standing trial in this country, because we don't want them to come back ever. With us this evening is a warrior on the front lines of that battle, Border Patrol Agent Roberto Ortiz. Great guy. In January, Roberto and another agent were patrolling by the Rio Grande near an area known as Cartel Island. Doesn't sound too nice to me. When heavily armed gunmen started shooting at them, Roberto saw that his partner was totally exposed, at great danger, and he leapt into action, returning fire and providing crucial seconds for his fellow agent to seek safety, just barely. I have some of the prints of that event, and it was not good. Agent Ortiz, we salute you for your great courage and for your line of fire that you took and for the bravery that you showed. We honor you, and we will always honor you. Thank you, Roberto, very much. Thank you, Roberto. And I actually got to know him on my many calls to the border. He's a great, great gentleman. The territory to the immediate south of our border is now dominated entirely by criminal cartels that murder, rape, torture, and exercise total control. They have total control over a whole nation, posing a grave threat to our national security. The cartels are waging war on America, and it's time for America to wage war on the cartels, which we are doing. Five nights ago, Mexican authorities, because of our tariff policies being imposed on them, think of this, handed over to us 29 of the biggest cartel leaders in their country. That has never happened before. They want to make us happy. First time ever. But we need Mexico and Canada to do much more than they've done, and they have to stop the fentanyl and drugs pouring into the USA. They're going to stop it. I have sent Congress a detailed funding request laying out exactly how we will eliminate these threats to protect our homeland and complete the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than current record holder President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a moderate man, but someone who believed very strongly in borders. Americans expect Congress to send me this funding without delay so I can sign it into law. So, Mr. Speaker, John Thune, both of you, I hope you're going to be able to do that, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Mr. Leader, thank you. Thank you very much. And let's get it to me. I'll sign it so fast, you won't even believe it.
There you go.
And as we reclaim our sovereignty, we must also bring back law and order to our cities and towns. In recent years, our justice system has been turned upside down by radical left lunatics. Many jurisdictions virtually ceased enforcing the law against dangerous repeat offenders while weaponizing law enforcement against political opponents like me. My administration has acted swiftly and decisively to restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law, starting at the FBI and the DOJ. Pam, good luck. Cash, wherever you may be, good luck. Good luck. Pam Bondi.
That's going to be the next big thing. Next to the fought waste and abuse with DOJ, the Department of Justice, along with Cash Patel, the FBI, and in some aspects, Tulsi Gabbard, DNI. But that's the other big battlefront is lawfare, because it's really bad. A lot of our legal system is inundated with a lot of liberals who are left leaning, who came up in the system of protesting and basically anarchy, right? And what they did was, when their tactics wouldn't work in the real world, they infiltrated a lot of the colleges, and they're infiltrating a lot of the higher offices, especially in DC. So it was a perfect plan. If you can't beat them, join them. And they're toppling the government from the inside out. Now, not on the level where somebody might like a revolutionary stuff, even though they have they have those type of leanings, but in the way that they execute judgments, or the way that they interpret law, especially. The Supreme Court did that earlier this week. Trump got a couple wins, but then the Supreme Court came back and actually handicapped him. And a part of me likes that they did that, because it exposes the problem within the law system. Right? The law system is important. Justice should be blind. Justice is needed. The law system is needed. But again, like any other system that we have, it's run by people, and people are flawed, and these people are letting their ideology overrule what they should be following, which is the letter of the law. And of course, they like to use the word interpretation. There's all these kind of words they like to use to justify, right, their biases when it comes to their judgments. And that happened this very week, which only tells me that the Supreme Court, even though it's supposed to be majority conservative, right? And conservative is not in political, conservative as you're going to follow the rule of law, right? And especially the Constitution, because that's what the Supreme Court is supposed to define everything against the Constitution. And they faltered. And they're faltering, right, because it's overpowering, I'm just going to be honest with you, evil in all these institutions that needs to be destroyed. And so we saw that in full effect, because you have a lower court judge who sits there, and then he's passing what I would consider stepping into the powers of the executive branch. Again, we elect the president to be the representation of the people, right? The only official that the entirety of the nation votes for, right? Right. Every representative and stuff like that, they're still by state, and other people are appointed. And by them doing that, right, it's going to open up a whole litany of people that's going to want to stop him, and they're going to use it through lawfare. And so I think this is a good thing. I hate it. I don't agree with it, but I think it's a good thing because it opens up everybody's eye. This is the next battlefield that we need to be on. We need to cut government waste, fraud, and abuse, and theft and stealing, and hold those people accountable. And then the deep state is another one, and then on top of that is the lawfare. All three of those things are the major things. On top of the fact that he has to do domestic stuff, economy, and jobs, and all that stuff. This dude, it's a good thing that he was elected. It's a good thing he doesn't sleep, or he can survive on little sleep because there's a lot of work ahead of him. But they really need to tackle the lawfare aspect because these guys could derail his plans, which a lot of left leaning liberal communists want to do, right? Because they don't love the country, they actually hate the country, and they want to see the country fail, or they want the country to turn to some communist utopia that will never exist. It'll just end up ruining the country, then everybody will suffer. And then at that point, I told you so. It won't matter because we'll all be gone. Okay, so that's the next big battlefront.
Good luck. So important.
Yeah, good luck.
Going to do a great job. Cash, thank you. Thank you, Cash.
The man right there.
They've already started very strong. They're going to do a fantastic job. You're going to be very proud of them. We're also once again giving our police officers the support, protection, and respect they so dearly deserve. They have to get it. They have such a hard, dangerous job, but we're going to make it less dangerous. The problem is the bad guys don't respect the law, but they're starting to respect it, and they soon will respect it. This also includes our great fire departments throughout the country. Our firemen and women are unbelievable people, and we'll never forget them. And besides that, they voted for me in record numbers, so I have no choice. 1 year ago this month, 31-year-old New York police officer Jonathan Diller, unbelievably wonderful person and a great officer, was gunned down at a traffic stop on Long Island. I went to his funeral. The vicious criminal charged with his murder had 21 prior arrests, and they were rough arrests, too. He was a real bad one. The thug in the seat next to him had 14 prior arrests and went by the name of Killer. He was Killer. He killed other people, they say, a lot of them. I attended Officer Diller's service, and when I met his wife and one-year-old son, Ryan, it was very inspirational, actually. His widow's name is Stephanie, and she is here tonight. Stephanie, thank you very much, Stephanie. Thank you very much. Stephanie, we're going to make sure that Ryan knows his dad was a true hero, New York's finest, and we're going to get these cold-blooded killers and repeat offenders off our streets, and we're going to do it fast. Got to stop it. They get out with 28 arrests. They push people into subway trains. They hit people over the head, back of the head with baseball bats. We got to get them out of here. I've already signed an executive order requiring a mandatory death penalty for anyone who murders a police officer. And tonight I'm asking Congress to pass that policy into permanent law. I'm also asking for a new crime bill getting tough on repeat offenders while enhancing protections for America's police officers so they can do their jobs without fear of their lives being totally destroyed. They don't want to be killed. We're not going to let them be killed. Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
Oh, this is the boy everybody's talking about. That's his dad.
But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer.
Mm.
The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago.
Mm. Wow.
Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's cute. Mm. You're a cute kid.
Thank you, DJ. DJ's doctors believe his cancer likely came from a chemical he was exposed to when he was younger. Since 1975, rates of child cancer have increased by more than 40%. Reversing this trend is one of the top priorities for our new presidential commission to make America healthy again, chaired by our new Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Yay. Yeah. Oh.
With the name Kennedy, you would have thought everybody over here would have been cheering. How quickly they forget.
Damn.
Our goal is to get toxins out of our environment,
Gee.
poisons out of our food supply, and keep our children healthy and strong. As an example, not long ago, and you can't even believe these numbers, 1 in 10,000 children had autism, 1 in 10,000, and now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong, 1 in 36. Think of that. So we're going to find out what it is, and there's nobody better than Bobby and all of the people that are working with you. You have the best to figure out what is going on. Okay, Bobby, good luck. It's a very important job. Thank you. Look at it. Thank you. My administration is also working to protect our children from toxic ideologies in our schools. A few years ago, January Littlejohn and her husband discovered that their daughter's school had secretly socially transitioned their 13-year-old little girl. Teachers and administrators conspired to deceive January and her husband while encouraging her daughter to use a new name and pronouns. They, them pronoun, actually, all without telling January, who is here tonight and is now a courageous advocate against this form of child abuse. January, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Stories like this are why, shortly after taking office, I signed an executive order banning public schools from indoctrinating our children with transgender ideology.
Mm.
I also signed an order to cut off all taxpayer funding to any institution that engages in the sexual mutilation of our youth. And now I want Congress to pass a bill permanently banning and criminalizing sex changes on children and forever ending the lie that any child is trapped in the wrong body.
Mm.
This is a big lie.
Yeah.
And our message to every child in America is that you are perfect exactly the way God made you.
Hey. Amen. Amen. God has redeemed.
Because we're getting wokeness out of our schools and out of our military, and it's already out, and it's out of our society. We don't want it. Wokeness is trouble. Wokeness is bad. It's gone. It's gone. And we feel so much better for it, don't we? Don't we feel better? Our service members won't be activists and ideologues. They will be fighters and warriors. They will fight for our country. And Pete, congratulations. Secretary of Defense, congratulations. And he's not big into the woke movement, I can tell you. I know him well. I am pleased to report that in January, the U.S. Army had its single best recruiting month in 15 years, and that all armed services are having among the best recruiting results ever in the history of our services. What a difference.
That's what happens when you're a strong leader.
And you know, it was just a few months ago where the results were exactly the opposite. We couldn't recruit anywhere. We couldn't recruit. Now we're having the best results just about that we've ever had. What a tremendous turnaround. It's really a beautiful thing to see. People love our country again. It's very simple. They love our country and they love being in our military again. So it's a great thing. And thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. We're joined tonight by a young man, Jason Hartley, who knows the weight of that call of duty. Jason's father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all wore the uniform. Jason tragically lost his dad, who was also a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy when he was just a boy, and now he wants to carry on the family legacy of service. Jason is a senior in high school, a six-letter varsity athlete, a really good athlete, they say, a brilliant student with a 4.46, that's good, GPA. And his greatest dream is to attend the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. And Jason, that's a very big deal getting in. That's a hard one to get into. But I'm pleased to inform you that your application has been accepted. You will soon be joining the Corps of Cadets.
Oh, that's awesome. That's all. Huh. Mm. Go Army.
Thank you. Jason, you're going to be on the long gray line, Jason. As Commander in Chief, my focus is on building the most powerful military of the future. As a first step, I'm asking Congress to fund a state of the art Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland, all made in the USA.
Nice.
And Ronald Reagan wanted to do it long ago, but the technology just wasn't there, not even close. But now we have the technology. It's incredible, actually. And other places they have it. Israel has it. Other places have it. And the United States should have it too, right, Tim? Right? They should have it too. So I want to thank you. But it's a very, very important. This is a very dangerous world. We should have it. We want to be protected, and we're going to protect our citizens like never before. To boost our defense industrial base, we are also going to resurrect the American shipbuilding industry, including commercial shipbuilding and military shipbuilding. And for that purpose, I am announcing tonight that we will create a new Office of Shipbuilding in the White House and offer special tax incentives to bring this industry home to America where it belongs. We used to make so many ships. We don't make them anymore very much, but we're going to make them very fast, very soon. It will have a huge impact. To further enhance our national security, my administration will be reclaiming the Panama Canal, and we've already started doing it.
Wow. Ownership or and
Just today, a large American company announced they are buying both ports around the Panama Canal
okay.
and lots of other things having to do with the Panama Canal and a couple of other canals. The Panama Canal was built by Americans for Americans, not for others, but others could use it. But it was built at tremendous cost of American blood and treasure. 38,000 workers died building the Panama Canal. They died of malaria. They died of snake bites and mosquitoes. Not a nice place to work. They paid them very highly to go there, knowing there was a 25% chance that they would die. The most expensive project also that was ever built in our country's history, if you bring it up to modern day costs. It was given away by the Carter administration for $1, but that agreement has been violated very severely. We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
And he's not going to give up on it. He's not gonna give up on it.
And we have Marco Rubio in charge. Good luck, Marco. Now, we know who to blame if anything goes wrong. Now, Marco's been amazing, and he's going to do a great job. Think of it. He got 100 votes. You know, he was approved with actually 99, but the 100th was this gentleman, and I feel very certain. So let's assume he got 100 votes. And I'm either very, very happy about that or I'm very concerned about it. But he's already proven. I mean, he's a great gentleman. He's respected by everybody, and we appreciate you voting for Marco. He's going to do a fantastic job. Thank you. Thank you. He's doing a great job.
He's a man, dude. I love Marco.
And I also have a message tonight for the incredible people of Greenland. We strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America. We need Greenland for national security and even international security. And we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. but we need it really for international world security.
Hmm.
And I think we're going to get it one way or the other. We're going to get it. We will keep you safe. We will make
See, that's what I'm talking about, man. When he does stuff like that, people don't know how to take him. You heard somebody boo from the other side, which is fine, dude. Of course they're gonna boo. But I mean, this is what keeps people on their toes. This is why I end up watching stuff like this. I think it's been over. Definitely gonna. I figured it wasn't gonna be straight 2 hours, but obviously it's gonna be 2 hours. You guys know how my podcasts are anyway. But still, I didn't think it was gonna be this long. That's why I'm glad I waited to Friday night to do this. But that's just the stuff that he does. Like he threw a little jab at Marco there. I'm a big fan of Marco Rubio. Always have been. Make sure my mic's on. Sorry. In fact, I was going to vote for him the year he ran for president, but Trump came in and he cleaned house. Him and Ted Cruz, probably two of the better Republicans on in DC by political standards, right? And there's nobody like Trump. To be honest, he's definitely the outsider. But yeah, if you actually get a chance to listen to a lot of the stuff Rubio is doing as a Secretary of State, I think you'll find that a lot of stuff that's said about him is not true. He definitely knows what he talks about. Smart guy, one of the smartest guys in the room, and it shows. Anyway, that was pretty funny though. And again, Greenland, wouldn't it is what it is, guys. Gulf of America, right? Panama Canal. So we got past that. Looks like he's still on his agenda. And again, this is the things that throw people off. A lot of his critics. This is why he's always a step ahead of them, right? He just throws so many stuff at them. He throws so much stuff at him on top of the fact that he's just 2 steps ahead of them all the time. You can I know you can hate him, not like his personality, things that he says, the way that he acts. At the end, it doesn't matter, dude. He's the president now, and again, personally, me, I've been enjoying watching what he's been doing, and I continue to see if he's going to be successful, and I think he is. I've never seen him not. And I'm not saying he hasn't had drawbacks in other points, in other aspects of his life and stuff like that. It is what it is, but yeah, this is going to be a roller coaster, right? That's all I'm going to tell you. So Greenland, again, is back on the table.
make you rich, and together we will take Greenland to heights like you have never thought possible before. It's a very small population, but very, very large piece of land and very, very important for military security. America
My gosh, I think he's going to bring up Canada.
is once again standing strong against the forces of radical Islamic terrorism. 3.5 years ago, ISIS terrorists killed 13 American service members and countless others in the Abbey Gate bombing during the disastrous and incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan. Not that they were withdrawing, it was the way they withdrew. Perhaps the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. Tonight, I am pleased to announce that we have just apprehended the top terrorist responsible for that atrocity, and he is right now on his way here to face the swift sword of American justice. And I want to thank especially the government of Pakistan for helping arrest this monster. This was a very momentous day for those 13 families who I actually got to know very well, most of them, whose children were murdered, and the many people that were so badly, over 42 people, so badly injured on that fateful day in Afghanistan. What a horrible day. Such incompetence was shown. That when Putin saw what happened, I guess he said, wow, maybe this is my chance. That's how bad it was. Should have never happened. Grossly incompetent people. I spoke to many of the parents and loved ones, and they're all in our hearts tonight. Just spoke to them on the phone. We had a big call. Every one of them called, and everybody was on the line, and they did nothing but cry with happiness. They were very happy, as happy as you can be under those circumstances. Their child, brother, sister, son, daughter was killed for no reason whatsoever. In the Middle East, we're bringing back our hostages from Gaza In my first term, we achieved one of the most groundbreaking peace agreements in generations, the Abraham Accords.
Yeah, they said they couldn't do it. They did. That was amazing.
And now we're going to build on that foundation to create a more peaceful and prosperous future for the entire region. A lot of things are happening in the Middle East. People have been talking about that so much lately with everything going on with Ukraine and Russia. But a lot of things are happening in the Middle East. It's a rough neighborhood, actually. I'm also working tirelessly to end the savage conflict in Ukraine. Millions of Ukrainians and Russians have been needlessly killed or wounded in this horrific and brutal conflict with no end in sight. The United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense with no security, with no anything.
Yeah. All the time they clap during this whole thing. That's sad. Sad.
Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes.
Dang. Oh.
2,000 people are being killed every single week. More than that. They're Russian young people. They're Ukrainian young people. They're not Americans, but I want it to stop. Meanwhile, Europe has sadly spent more money buying Russian oil and gas than they have spent on defending Ukraine by far. Think of that. They've spent more buying Russian oil and gas than they have defending. And we've spent perhaps $350 billion, like taking candy from a baby. That's what happened. And they've spent $100 billion. What a difference that is. And we have an ocean separating us, and they don't. But we're getting along very well with them, and lots of good things are happening. Biden has authorized more money in this fight than Europe has spent by billions and billions of dollars. It's hard to believe that they wouldn't have stopped it and said at some point, come on, let's equalize. You got to be equal to us. That didn't happen. Earlier today, I received an important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter, just got it a little while ago. Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful? It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end this senseless war. If you want to end wars, you have to talk to both sides. Nearly 4 years ago, amid rising tensions, a history teacher named Mark Fogel was detained in Russia and sentenced to 14 years in a penal colony. Rough stuff. The previous administration barely lifted a finger to help him. They knew he was innocent, but they had no idea where to begin. But last summer, I promised his 95-year-old mother, Malphine, that we would bring her boy safely back home. After 22 days in office, I did just that, and they are here tonight.
Nice. Mm. Oh, is that the same? Oh, oh my goodness. Okay.
To Mark and his great mom, we are delighted to have you safe and sound and with us. As fate would have it, Mark Fogel was born in a small rural town in Butler, Pennsylvania. Have you heard of it? Where his mother has lived for the past 78 years. I just happened to go there last July 13th for a rally. That was not pleasant. And that is where I met his beautiful mom right before I walked onto that stage. And I told her I would not forget what she said about her son. And I never did I? Never forgot. Less than 10 minutes later, at that same rally, gunfire rang out, and a sick and deranged assassin unloaded 8 bullets from his sniper's perch into a crowd of many thousands of people. My life was saved by a fraction of an inch, but some were not so lucky. Corey Comparator was a firefighter, a veteran, a Christian, a husband, a devoted father, and above all, a protector. When the sound of gunshots pierced the air, it was a horrible sound. Corey knew instantly what it was and what to do. He threw himself on top of his wife and daughters and shielded them from the bullets with his own body. Corey was hit really hard. You know the story from there. He sacrificed his life to save theirs. 2 others, very fine people, were also seriously hit. But thankfully, with the help of 2 great country doctors, we thought they were gone and they were saved. So those doctors had great talent. We're joined by Corey's wife, Helen, who was his high school sweetheart, and their 2 beloved daughters, Allison and Kaylee. Thank you. To Helen, Allison, and Kaylee, Corey is looking down on his 3 beautiful ladies right now, and he is cheering you on. He loves you. He is cheering you on. Corey was taken from us much too soon, but his destiny was to leave us all with a shining example of the selfless devotion of a true American patriot. It was love like Corey's that built our country, and it's love like Corey's that is going to make our country more majestic than ever before. I believe that my life was saved that day in Butler for a very good reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. I believe that.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. From the patriots of Lexington and Concord to the heroes of Gettysburg and Normandy, from the warriors who crossed the Delaware to the trailblazers who climbed the Rockies, and from the legends who soared at Kitty Hawk to the astronauts who touched the moon, Americans have always been the people who defied all odds, transcended all dangers, made the most extraordinary sacrifices, and did whatever it took to defend our children, our country, and our freedom. And as we have seen in this chamber tonight, that same strength, faith, love, and spirit is still alive and thriving in the hearts of the American people. Despite the best efforts of those who would try to censor us, silence us, break us, destroy us, Americans are today a proud, free, sovereign, and independent nation
He shifts his ball.
that will always be free, and we will fight for it till death. We will never let anything happen to our beloved country, because we are a country of doers, dreamers, fighters, and survivors. Our ancestors crossed a vast ocean, strode into the unknown wilderness, and carved their fortunes from the rock and soil of a perilous and very dangerous frontier. They chased our destiny across a boundless continent. They built the railroads, laid the highways, and graced the world with American marvels like the Empire State Building, the mighty Hoover Dam, and the towering Golden Gate Bridge. They lit the world with electricity, broke free of the force of gravity, fired up the engines of American industry, vanquished the communists, fascists, and Marxists all over the world, and gave us countless modern wonders sculptured out of iron, glass, and steel. We stand on the shoulders of these pioneers who won and built the modern age. These workers who poured their sweat into the skylines of our cities. These warriors who shed their blood on fields of battle and gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. Now it is our time to take up the righteous cause of American liberty. And it is our turn to take America's destiny into our own hands and begin the most thrilling days in the history of our country. This will be our greatest era. With God's help, over the next 4 years, we are going to lead this nation even higher, and we are going to forge the freest, most advanced, most dynamic, and most dominant civilization ever to exist on the face of this earth. We are going to create the highest quality of life, build the safest and wealthiest and healthiest and most vital communities anywhere in the world. We are going to conquer the vast frontiers of science, and we are going to lead humanity into space and plant the American flag on the planet Mars and even far beyond. And through it all, we are going to rediscover the unstoppable power of the American spirit. And we are going to renew unlimited promise of the American dream. Every single day, we will stand up and we will fight, fight, fight for the country our citizens believe in and for the country our people deserve.
No, that's that.
My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future, because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless America.
A lot of them left already. I seen them pour them out. I seen them pouring out of the chamber. Well, credit, they did stay for the most part of it, right? Especially they were getting lambasted. I didn't know he was going to go that hard on them. I don't really care either. They deserve it. So then I can also see why a lot of people, even Democrats, were upset. Because there's a portion of the speech, understandably so, when that's your political opponent, that's your political opponent. You guys took a shellacking in the election. this guy's been getting everything he wants. He's been winning. He's been running roughshod all over you. That you're going to feel a certain way. But at some point, again, just for optics' sake, and it's more than that. But I'm just saying, even at that level, you would think they would understand that that's a bad look, not to at least stand and clap. And I did see a couple of people standing clapping. I don't know if they're Democrats or not, but it looked like they were on that side. So credit to those guys. Um, but in that kind of situation, man, and you know what, you could tell from the beginning, like when we were looking at their faces, it's not surprising that they did it. But it's just a bad look, dude. That party's got a lot of soul searching to do. I'm just gonna say that. I mean, I'm not a Democrat too, so it is what it is, man. I'm more ultra focused um, on the president and what he's going to be doing, how that's going to affect me personally, how that's going to affect the country, what's going to ultimately affect me and my family. I did love the closing of the speech. I thought the speech overall was amazing. I love the closing of the speech because I think that's very important. It's something that he's talking about, the golden age of America, and then he backs it up with at least some verbiage to highlight to people what that exactly means. I mean, through the entirety of the entire speech, he never really lost focus. He segued from one thing to another perfectly well. A couple of times, you could see that he took things, he got a little bit emotional, which is fine. But he didn't lose control, which is important. He has a certain way of speaking, a certain cadence, some people don't like, understandable, right? But overall, I thought the speech was amazing. I really like the closing, though. I think it's important for people to understand the direction that he wants to take this country. I'm all on board for it, dude. I always felt. I said this on other videos on my channel, man. It's one thing that I love about being American and a citizen of this country is we've always been on the forefront of anything over the last 200 years in our history for a lot of the stuff that's actually changed the world. And I'm not just talking about technology. I'm talking about politics, industrial revolution, right? Human rights, all of that stuff. It's been in this country. And that's why I'm also a Republican. A lot of times the Republican Party in its brief history has stood on the cusp of a lot of those things. That's why I consider myself a Republican. Now, the Republican Party has changed over the years. There's a lot of stuff going on this side of the aisle. And that's what I'm ultra focused on, dude. It is what it is on the other side. Can't do anything about that, but we're moving forward on this side. But I did like that he closed out talking about the hopes and dreams and aspirations. Everybody should have that, dude. This is why a lot of people are more upbeat and more positive. If we can just fix the economy, get the economy going back to good, that'll help seal the deal for him. Because he has a lot of stuff going on, like I talked about earlier as I stopped the video to talk about all this stuff. He does. He does have a lot of things on his plate, but he's handling it, man. It's amazing to me. Again, it's only been 2 months, and this dude is not stopping. So actually, I really did like that. So I'm glad I did this. Yeah, sorry about the link, guys. Thank you for everybody that stopped in. Really appreciate it. Let me stop this, dude. I can stop this now. Hold on. Let me stop sharing. Okay, there we go. So I can get off that. Man, that was every bit. What about like hour 45 minutes? Because you did have a brief. I started it off, I think, at the 10-minute mark. Still, that's almost 2 hours. It's kind of like this. Oops, sorry. Can you see? There we go. Where am I? There I am. Sorry about that, guys. I mean, man, dude, he freestyled. I shouldn't say he freestyled. It was written and prepared, but just a little, even the jabs that he took and stuff like that. It's probably one of his best speeches he's given. So, in my opinion. But anyway, guys, let me wrap this up, man. I've been 3 hours deep. What is it? It's after 7 o'clock. But yeah, I'm glad I did that, dude. I hope you guys, when you come across it, dude. I know politically charged stuff is not everybody's forte, but if you get a chance to listen to it, let me know what you guys think down below. Appreciate the people in the chat that did drop by. Daniel Berry, welcome, brother. Faded Blaze, as always, man. Appreciate you coming in. I know this is a long one. I know a lot of people can't listen to it, but this is why I like doing it on the channel. And also, man, KT, bro, hey, thanks for being in here, cause appreciate it, man. And hey, dude, you make some really great points, right? And then I agree to disagree on some things, but you're always welcome here, man, to give your opinion. That's why I'm doing these videos, right? And so people can talk about what they want to talk about. All right. So anyway, guys, Xbox All In channel, host Sega Forever. I probably do a podcast tomorrow morning. It should be the Wrecking Crew podcast, but I'm thinking of doing something a little bit different. I don't know. I want to look at the Nacon showcase that was shown. If you guys didn't know, I really like Nikon Nikon. They're publishers that they're a company, but they think they make controllers and stuff, peripherals as well as games, develop games and stuff like that. So I know that they had a showcase. Definitely want to check that one out. And that's what I'll be doing on my channel too, man. We're gonna showcase some of these people that's outside of the Xbox ecosystem. Though they're kind of in it because a lot of them participate in either ID at Xbox or they support Game Pass, which is why I'm a huge fan of theirs, and they make great content on top of that. So win-win for everybody involved. So just stay tuned, but something's coming tomorrow morning, either Wrecking Crew or we're gonna look at the Nikon showcase. Okay, Xbox Online channel, host Sega Forever, we out.